Yeah, and welcome to Papastache Pop. So you want to learn some My Dad Can Beat Up Your Dad blues licks? And what I mean by that is like, you've learned all the, the soft, cool, fun, blues rock, soul, but now you want some freaking fire and some pizzazz. Then this lesson is for you. Don't forget about the blues soloing link down below. Well, now you can't forget about it because I just reminded you. But there's a link down there that goes over target notes, scales, and how to see the chord shapes inside of those scales. So then you hit the good notes, right? Now this is just all about, fun. Target notes, we'll work on those too. But this is those in-between licks, in between those cool, soulful target notes. And then you just put the wrath of God into the blues phrase. So let's zoom in for a closer look, and we'll learn 3 of them. All right, so one way we can get out of just sounding like standard blues playing, which is great. I freaking love the blues. I tend to like, the Freddie Kings and the Hendrix and the Stevie Ray Vaughns, more aggressive sounding blues players. And traditionally, those are pretty... they're heavily based in minor pentatonic. There's a lot of great major stuff too. And then they also do stuff that's both major and minor. And that's what we're going to do here today, but we're going to add some distortion and we're going to kind of lean it towards more hard rock sounding riffs a la, Warren DeMartini of Rat, George Lynch, Eddie Van Halen, These guys are, I just like grew up on these guys and they're seeped into my soul. But the licks are often based out of pentatonic licks, right? And they're just mixing up notes, borrowing from the major or the minor, depending on what key they're in. And they come up with these freaking fire-breathing riffs. Now, just for playing them for so long, I've kind of developed some of my own that I incorporate stuff and borrow stuff from them to do it, which is what we all do, right? So let me show you some of the stuff that I like to use. One of the riffs I like to use, and I learned it from my buddy Mark, who's a freaking terrifying guitar player, but he would come in and out of position 1, he would just borrow a note from he'd put the major third, right? Because of our E chord. He would put that major third. Right, there's our E major chord. And he would incorporate that into his pentatonic run. So we're going to have 15, 16, 15, pull off. Okay, so we got... Now I'm going to go and do a roll, what I call stacking. So it's going to be 15B, 15E, 15B, and then back to here. So we got... Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to that major third and I'm going to bend it up a half step, okay? So we got... Okay, so we got pull off from 16 to 12, 15B back to 12, and then I'm going to go... Okay, so I've pulled off now from the B string, 15 to 12. Hit the blues note. Great freaking note, right? It's going to be the 15th fret of the G string. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide in and pull off. So we got 15, slide to 14, pull off to 12. And I'm going to do one more of those stacks. And basically, if we were playing an E, you're hitting the E there. Back to the E. Right, because we want to hit those notes from the chords as they go by, even though, there's not we're pretending there's a E track going by. Okay, so we got... And then what I'm going to do is a Van Halen style lick, where a lot of people will bend up this note, the 14th fret. He bends up the 12th a lot. It just sounds freaking awesome. So you got... And then shake it like you mean it. So that would be one riff. Another riff we could do is we could start incorporating more of those major notes in there as well. And we could do the second position of major pentatonic, right? So we know what the positions are, hopefully, right? So that would be E minor first position. Well, the second position of E major, which is the same shape, just in a different spot, is the second position in E minor, happens right here. Right? It's part of that E major triad. So what we can do there is we can bend that one up a half step, and you're basically bending it into that E minor and pulling it off. So that's going to be 14 half step, back down to pitch, pull off. So we got. Then we're going to go back into the E minor scale, G14. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our minor, but hammer onto our major third. So we got. Now what we're going to do is back to the minor scale and pull off 14 to 12. And then we're going to stack on the 14A, 14D, back to 14A. Back to the 12th fret, and then walk down chromatically. So we got A string, 14, 13, 12, slide to 11. Right, which is that major third again, just an octave lower. So we got. You can come back and do it that way, or just. Right? Right? So there's lots of ways you can mix it up, just subtle changes, right? Take on a whole new life with these kind of riffs. But the core thing that we're doing is we're taking a minor box, adding more distortion, and then throwing in some of those major notes, or just using passing tones, right? Chromatic runs and going, you know, just straight down the scale. You can do that in lots of stuff. I mean, you'll hear it all the time. People will go like, or, right? They're just playing the notes in between the box, right? You got two notes, might as well add the one in between. And if you go quick enough, right, they're kind of. Right, it starts to add this cool kind of, you know, blues rock, kind of almost Steve Vai-ish, Van Halen-ish kind of thing going on. So let's learn one more riff in that style. One more time. All right, my work is done here. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so this one we're going to stick strictly to E minor pentatonic, but we're going to use two of the positions in one riff, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the tail end note of position 1, or the first note of position 2, and then I'm going to jump up. So we got 15 to 17. Okay? So it's kind of similar to the starting the way we did on the first riff. And then we're going to pull off. So we went 15, 17, 15, 12, and then we're going to pull off again 15 to 12. You can do hammer-ons and pull-offs. Pick. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that stacking just like we did in the other riff. Alright, so. And then come back. So it's very similar to the first riff. Now I'm going to go from this note here, the 12th fret E, to the 12th fret B. Hammer onto the 15th fret, and come back to that E. And then bend it up here. So we got. Right, you can combine the two. Let's see. Right, and have one long riff. So it's just about, kind of going outside what would traditionally be the normal, box. Which is great. Maybe that's how you're going to start it, right? Obviously we're right, so it still could kind of work in that traditional format, but it kind of lends itself a little bit more to hard rock or classic rock or, any sort of rock where there might be fire and explosions and thunder and angry riffs. Even though you may be a tender person, sometimes it's good to get in touch with that fierce side and let it come out in guitar playing, so it's not like you're like this tender guy like, hey, what's up, man, die person, and then people just think you're like, got something wrong with you. So let it come out in the guitar, and then that way, you can be peace loving and fun and have fire breathing riffs at the same time. It's the yin and yang thing. You guys are awesome. Yes, way to go. Now be careful, might light your fretboard on fire, or, either that or cause some severe bleeding on your fingers. Either way, thank you so much for checking in. You guys are amazing. The support is awesome. The channel is growing like crazy. If you want to help me out, just subscribe if it's your first time here, or tell your friends and share the videos. That would be awesome. Would be super, super stoked. If you want to learn a bunch of acoustic songs and pop and country, there's more, all that stuff over there at papastachepop. There's over 415 videos over there, so check that out too. And then down below in the description box where the link is, there's also websites and all that other stuff. So if you want, instruction like this, then that stuff is down there for you as well. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for checking in. Catch you next time.